In previous videos, I presented irrefutable evidence of life after death and explained where we go after it. I also clarified what dreams truly are and revealed the tragic consequences that befall those who commit suicide after their passing. Additionally, I shared several of the many NDE stories I have gathered over more than 20 years of researching death and existence beyond the material body. If you haven't watched those videos yet, I encourage you to click on the name of my channel and visit the video tab, where you'll find all the content I've created so far. In this episode, however, I will present to you the knowledge about existence after the death of the body as taught by one of the most famous Greek philosophers, Plato. Let's begin. Plato was born in 427 BCE in Athens to an aristocratic family. His real name was Aristocles, and the nickname Plato, meaning broad, might have referred to his broad shoulders or the breadth of his intellect. Plato was a student of Socrates and a teacher of Aristotle, making him one of the pivotal figures in the history of Western philosophy. He founded the Academy, the first institution of higher learning in Europe, where he developed and taught his ideas for over 40 years. Plato authored numerous dialogues in which he presented his ideas through philosophical conversations, often with Socrates as the main character. In works like the Republic, Phaedo, Timaeus, and Symposium, he addressed a wide range of topics from ethics and politics to metaphysics and epistemology. His theory of ideas or forms was one of the cornerstones of his thought. According to Plato, the material world is merely a reflection of perfect and eternal forms that exist in a non-material realm. One of the most important topics Plato explored in his works was the immortality of the soul and life after death. In the dialogue Phaedo, Plato examines the nature of the soul in detail and provides various arguments for its immortality. Additionally, in Symposium, he discusses ideas of love and eternity, suggesting that love serves as a bridge between the material world and the immortal soul. In the Republic, the soul appears in the context of morality and justice, where Plato emphasizes that the soul consists of three parts: the rational, the spirited, and the appetitive, and that harmony between them leads to spiritual development and brings the soul closer to immortality. In Timaeus, he offers a cosmological perspective, connecting the soul's nature with the order of the universe. These dialogues demonstrate how deeply Plato believed in the eternal nature of the soul and its capacity for transcendence. Plato believed that the soul is an immaterial, eternal, and immortal being. In Phaedo, he presents four main arguments for the immortality of the soul: the argument from opposites, the argument from recollection, the argument from simplicity, and the teleological argument. According to the argument from opposites, life and death are opposites that continually generate one another, implying that the soul must exist after death to allow this process to occur. The argument from recollection suggests that our ability to recall ideas like equality or justice indicates the soul's prior existence in the world of forms. The argument from simplicity is based on the soul's nature as a simple, indivisible entity that cannot decay, unlike the body. Finally, the teleological argument emphasizes that the soul is oriented toward goodness and truth, suggesting its transcendent and eternal nature. Plato famously expressed these views in the metaphor of the chariot in Phaedrus, where the soul is depicted as a charioteer steering two horses, one striving for lofty ideals and the other pulling toward earthly desires. According to Plato, the material world is merely a shadow of the true reality, which consists of the world of forms. After the body's death, the soul returns to this transcendent realm, but only if it has attained sufficient purity and wisdom. Souls burdened by wrongdoing or attachment to material desires are condemned to reincarnation, taking on new bodies. Plato described this process as a cycle of reincarnation, which continues until the soul is purified and can return to the world of forms. The soul could reincarnate into various life forms depending on its morality and spiritual development. For instance, souls of particularly virtuous individuals might reincarnate as philosophers, who have a greater chance of achieving ultimate liberation. On the other hand, souls burdened by base instincts might reincarnate as animals symbolizing those traits, such as predators, representing aggression, or insects, symbolizing aimless existence. Plato considered the cycle of reincarnation a consequence of ignorance and misunderstanding of the true nature of reality. Liberation requires a philosophical life and the practice of virtue, allowing the soul to detach from material things and turn toward the world of forms. In Phaedo, Plato described three essential steps for the soul to achieve liberation. First, self-knowledge. Philosophical life begins with understanding oneself and recognizing that the soul is fundamentally different from the body. This knowledge leads to the realization that the material world is merely an illusion, and true happiness lies in contemplating the world of forms. Second, purification of the soul. Plato emphasized practicing virtues such as justice, wisdom, courage, and moderation. By eliminating desires and emotions tied to the material world, the soul can purify itself and prepare for the encounter with the world of forms. Third, contemplation of forms. A soul that has reached a higher level of understanding can turn to contemplating eternal and perfect forms, such as goodness, beauty, or justice. Plato believed that the idea of goodness, in particular, is the ultimate goal of human life and the key to the soul's liberation. Plato presented his views on life after death in the myth of Er, included in the 10th book of the Republic. This story tells of a warrior named Er who, after a near-death experience, witnessed a vision of the afterlife. Observed how the souls of the dead were judged, determining their future fate. Virtuous souls were sent to a realm of reward for 10,000 years, where they could enjoy the fruits of their good deeds. Meanwhile, sinful souls were sent to a realm of punishment to atone for their misdeeds. After serving their sentences or rewards, the souls returned to a place where they chose their next life. This choice was a pivotal moment, symbolizing the soul's freedom and responsibility for its decisions. Choices ranged from human lives to animal lives, depending on the soul's nature and previous experiences. Noticed that some souls chose recklessly, condemning themselves to difficult fates, while others made wise decisions that brought them closer to purification. The myth of illustrates the cyclical nature of existence and the role of morality and knowledge in spiritual growth. It also emphasizes that only a philosophical approach to life enables the right choice, leading to ultimate liberation from the cycle of reincarnation. For Plato, philosophy was not merely an intellectual pursuit, but also a spiritual path to salvation. He believed that only through a philosophical life could one achieve a true understanding of reality and break free from the bonds of the material world. Philosophy allows the soul to look beyond the illusions of earthly life and find the path to the eternal world of forms. Plato's views on the soul and life after death profoundly influenced Western philosophical and religious traditions. His concepts were reflected in Neoplatonism and Christian theology, where the idea of the soul's immortality and the importance of virtue played a key role. Plato created a cohesive vision of the world in which the soul is the central element, connecting the material world with the transcendent. His philosophy offers not only intellectual challenges, but also spiritual inspiration for those seeking the meaning of life and the path to liberation. If you would like to delve deeper into the topic of life after death, I encourage you to explore my publication. In it, I have compiled all the knowledge about existence beyond the material body that I have gathered over 20 years of research and personal experiences during my out-of-body journeys. You can find the link to the book in the description below the video. That's all for today. Thank you for being here, and see you next time.